Hello, my fellow foodies. My name is Sarah, Weight Watcher Cape Cod woman, and today is, it's kind of funny. I'm reading a book like I always am, and this one's on tape. And the chapter is going back into when obesity began for a lot of us Americans. And it was, of course, the 50s when things that began to be low-fat and fat-free. But then he mentioned Jack LaLanne, and I remember this elegant, lovely, trim woman across the street, and she would have on Jack LaLanne in the morning. I was a little fat girl, and she was a lovely, elegant woman who was trim, and her children were doctors, don't you know, and so she would have Jack LaLanne on, and I would watch, and I, of course, would mock, of course, the whole thing. But a lot of women depended on Jack LaLanne for their morning exercise and motivation. And, I look back and, I'd make fun of, like, the fact that he was wearing, like, little ballet flats and things like that. But he helped quite a few women, and he planted the seed of the term of this video, and that is health nut. Remember that term? What are you, a health nut? And it was always said with disdain, as if as if taking care of yourself was a crazy, crazy thing. And of course now we have on every corner, it just seems, is a fast food place or a Dunkin' Donuts that promotes obesity. And back then, you never saw that. I was laughing because in one of the more well-heeled communities here on the Cape, when I walk with my marathon friend, there are, which I'm doing this morning, there are tons of walkers, tons of bikers, but mostly walkers, and some with beautiful dogs, but others just on their own. And you can tell that, they come from the sort of culture, community, economic class of, like, just being walkers. And where I walk in my dark in the city, there's not a lot of us that are walking, at least, early in the morning. And it's just kind of funny because, so I guess I would be branded a health nut. And back then, a health nut was somebody that didn't partake in the great American food explosion of the typical American diet. And this particular chapter also goes into Indian cultures and the Great West back then, and how these civilizations of Indians were trim, and they relied on their staples, their diet. Food wasn't a big deal to them. And then the railroads came, and with the railroads came a little form of obesity because they were introduced to white flour and how that affected their diets. And so it's very, very interesting. So yes, I'm a health nut. And I remember little health nut stores where you'd go, and the selections would be so minimal. I don't know if you remember back then. So this is being taped in advance, this particular tape. I'm back to banking some. I've been busy. When I'm taping this is actually when I was doing my weigh-in challenge. And in the middle of that, I did what I eat on my 2-day tracker. And also I did a freezer and downstairs fridge video. And it's just kind of funny because somebody commented about all the processed foods that were in my fridge and freezer that are downstairs. And I the disclaimer is that Greg, Greg does not follow my food plan because he doesn't have to and or necessarily want to. So oftentimes, he's loaded up with veggies every day and a lot of good things, but he definitely partakes in white flour and white sugar goodies. And so they were in my fridge. It's just kind of funny that somebody's noting it. And that's like the person, the time I did a picture of something on my dining room table, and there was this glass jar. Well, I guess flowers came in it, so it's like this little square jar or vase. And Greg has it filled with his little snack size chocolates, and that's all she could focus on. And I don't even see them because, as you know, I squint at things that are none of my business. You know, after I go buy the fruit bowls, and then I open the fridge and I see all the veggie and salad stuff. You know, that's my business, right? So I'm still doing the 26 points per day, and I do tap into the weeklies because having full fat cottage cheese, sour cream, cheese, and yogurt, you know, have a couple of more points. And I'm having a half ounce of nuts most every afternoon too. And wow, it's amazing how those can just get right into the bloodstream and help. And that half an ounce of nuts are 2 points. I also have a 4-pack of some Sabra, I think it's Sabra, guacamole that is 2 points for the little medallion. And it's adorable, and it's very, very filling. And that little bit of fat really helps with my being satisfied. That and sometimes the busyness of an orange at like 3 in the afternoon, or an apple that I cut with a knife, so it takes a while to eat. And I find as I, especially with the stress of my job, I bring a lot of low point items with me to graze on all day long, because the stress, while others are out having their cigarette, you know, I'm reaching for yet another one of my little glass jarred items. Today I'm excited. I'm having some PB2 in my Fayet yogurt, and I just love that flavor when I put it in. And I put in, I guess it's just it's 2 teaspoons of the PB2 into 2 ounces of the yogurt, and it's a great little treat, and it's thick, and it takes a while to eat, and I love it. What do you guys grab and go for snacks? So back to being a health nut. Have any of you gotten new habits that you never had before with like the traditional health food stores, or Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, places like that? Have you become a label reader? I remember never paying attention to what were on labels. And I did a little nutrition series that I was mocked at my shelter a few years ago, because they aren't ready. They just aren't ready. And they're surrounded by so many donations of breads and pies and cakes and things like that. And they're also all addicted to Dunkin' Donuts items that have, you know, one woman said to me her iced coffee had 10 sugars in it, and you know, that's a lot. So I am a health nut, and that's probably why a lot of you are listening. And I love reading labels. I am fascinated by, I guess, the American food makers and how things are labeled on the front and the back. And I love whoever works and gets things through the government to have, you know, all those little circles, sometimes in the lower right-hand corner of boxes, and it gives protein and sodium and fiber and calories, and I love that. You know, I know that a lot of people are pushing for the GMOs that they don't even allow in Europe. They do not allow genetically modified organisms in European food. And thank goodness there's so many people out in California that push for these sort of things to be passed. So I love it on the boxes of some more proactive food items where they get ahead of what is legal and, you know, that they have to put on labels. and they let us know what is in the ingredients. And so I am a health nut, and I love the saying. And I just remember quirky older women, especially when women were mostly stay at home in my neighborhood growing up, along with my mother, but she was figuring out how to get Bloody Marys into her at 7 in the morning. So there's no health nut going on at my house. And so, I'd see people that took care. I remember this woman, and she chewed gum, and she had that Mary Tyler Moore body from the Dick Van Dyke Show, that tiny little pixie type thing, and she chewed gum for her appetite thing. And of course, I fall into the category of eating a lot. I eat a lot every day rather than small portions. And even sometimes when I see what some people eat on the Facebook blogs with their pictures and stuff, it's like, aren't they starving? I guess I've become such an oinker. And having the salads helps. And I basically, at least through the summer now, I'm having 3 salads a day. I have my great big one at night, my usual romaine with the chopped veggies from Trader Joe's, with my Bolthouse Parmesan, Caesar Parmesan, and a half a tablespoon of olive oil. And that is a 3-point salad. Huge! And, I just felt like Christopher Walken saying that. Huge! The way he does that with his shoulders. Love Christopher Walken. The other salad I'm having is with the broccoli coleslaw and the chopped up peppers and the organic English cucumber and the red onions. That's a smaller salad. And I have that with 1 tablespoon of the Bolthouse Classic vinaigrette, which is 0 points. And sometimes I add a tablespoon of the crumbled feta to it, which is a treat, 1 point. And although I haven't this week in all of them, I don't know why. And then my other salad is the red leaf lettuce. And I don't know if some of you have seen my little baby heads that come from Trader Joe's. It's like a 3-pack. It's red leaf, romaine, and I think just green leaf. But they're just this solid, like the head that's about this big as my hand is just so dense, and it just fills the bowl a lot more than a regular, like, typical head of red leaf or romaine, and I'm loving it. So I've got to go there to get another couple of packs. And on that, I put my 1 apricot and my 1 kiwi fruit and 2 tablespoons of cilantro avocado Bolthouse, which is 1 point. And when I'm feeling decadent, I'll have a tablespoon of the slivered almonds. So with my new health choices, because I'm a health nut, and having more full-fat things, and the steel-cut oats or the Bob's gluten-free cereal, or my 2 organic eggs with the cheese, my breakfasts are now 10 points. And so if I'm up to 26, then the 16 go fast for the lunch, snacks, dinner, rest of the day. And so it is interesting, because it used to be less in the morning because I was doing things like fat-free, half and half, and all of that. And since I've given up that sort of stuff. So if you see some of my older videos, it's my process of slowly giving up the low-fat, fat-free things. And so although I was a big advocate of them back then, and I still am for their healthier choices than the candy store yogurts that are out there and things like that, I have moved to the full-fat versions of cheeses, cottage cheese, yogurt, sour cream, and even my half a tablespoon of butter on my potato on my Sunday treat meal with the steak. So I'm a health nut, and thank goodness these stores can provide health nut items. I just love it. And just if I'm not listening to a book on tape and hearing somebody talk about the 50s and 60s, I don't remember, how that was back then when we would mock people that walked, and you'd get that look. And still sometimes people will say to me, do you need a ride? With me with my headphones and my sneakers and my sweatshirt walking down the street. It's just kind of funny. It's just such a different culture. So anyway, what do you have on your tracker today for your 26 points? And are you evolving into what we used to call a health nut, which is more than just what you put in your mouth. It's what you do with your body every day and your whole attitude. Are you just becoming a more health conscious sort of person with your insides and your outsides, and keeping it trim, getting it trim, and feeding? So anyway, just curious. I know a lot of older women watch my channel, and they're going to be familiar with the term health nut and Jack LaLanne. And I used to participate in a whole bunch of like little quirky exercises also that were on the TV way back when. And does anybody remember Joni Greggins? She was this blonde, so much fun exercise guru from California, probably 80s. And she was just as funny and chatty as they come. And I used to do her exercise for a half hour every morning as well. And then the Jane Fonda treadmill. All this stuff that we did. So anyway, that's it for now. Just a little health nutty bathrobe chat. And it is 2:30 in the morning. And I will be walking a little bit. Today's my 9-mile walk between my 5-mile with my health nut Boston Marathon friend and my regular 4-mile walk in the dark with my headphones. So I hope you have a wonderful day. This has been Sarah, Weight Watcher Cape Cod Woman, and until the next time, bye-bye for now.